Hello, hello. It is a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in New Bern, North Carolina. I am Grace Amber, and I'm coming to you today with another message. So my word for today is, when you know better, do better. So I'm going to read to you today from Hosea chapter 8. I'm not going to read just a verse. I'm going to read the whole chapter. And I'm going to read from the New Living Translation. Sound the alarm. The enemy descends like an eagle on the people of the Lord, for they have broken my covenant and revolted against my law. Now, Israel, please with me, help us, for you are our God, but it is too late. The people of Israel have rejected what is good, and now their enemies will chase after them. The people have appointed kings without my consent and princes without my approval. By making idols for themselves from their silver and gold, they have brought about their own destruction. O Samaria, I reject this calf, this idol you have made. My fury burns against you. How long will you be incapable of innocence? The calf you worship, O Israel, was crafted by your own hands. It is not God, therefore it must be smashed to bits. They have planted the wind and will harvest the whirlwind. They have planted the wind and will harvest the whirlwind. The stalks of grain wither and produce nothing to eat, and even if there is any grain, foreigners will eat it. The people of Israel have been swallowed up. They lie among the nations like an old discarded pot. Like a wild donkey looking for a mate, they have gone up to Assyria. The people of Israel have sold themselves to many lovers. But though they have sold themselves to many allies, I will now gather them together for judgment. Then they will writhe under the burden of the great king. Israel has built many altars to take away sin, but these very altars become places for sinning. Even though I gave them all my laws, they act as if those laws don't apply to them. The people love to offer their sacrifices to me, feasting on the meat, but I do not accept their sacrifices. I will hold my people accountable for their sins, and I will punish them. I will hold my people accountable for their sins, and I will punish them. They will return to Egypt. Israel has forgotten its maker and built great palaces, and Judah has fortified its cities. Therefore, I will send down fire on their cities and will burn up their fortresses. Therefore, I will send down fire on their cities and will burn up their fortresses. So I said that my thought for today was, when you know better, you do better. So when I read this, it was 4 things that stuck out to me. The first thing was sound the alarm. The second thing was the enemy descended on the people of the Lord. The third thing was the people appointed kings without God's consent. And the fourth thing was they planted the wind, but they harvested the whirlwind. So basically, the people of Israel, what they did, they knew better, but they didn't do better. They had rituals, just like many of us have today. We go to church, we read our Bible, we might meditate in the morning, we might go to Bible study, whatever our ritual may be. But see, the people of the Israelites, what they did, they knew better, and they still offered these rituals. But God said, you know what? Y'all know better. You're giving me rituals. You're sending me offering up sacrifices. You're building these altars they're supposed to be against sinning, but in actuality, these places is where the sinning is going on. God said, I'm no longer going to accept your rituals, and I'm no longer going to accept your sacrifices. They sowed the wind and they reaped the whirlwind. So basically what they did was they made false idols. They worship money. They worship many of the things that we do today. We worship money. We worship the cars, the fast life, that fancy lifestyle, a lot of money. The money going to come with women. It's going to come with a little bit of clout. Those are the things that we worship, but God did not appoint those things. God is a jealous God. So at this point in time in this story, the Israelites, they had these idols that they were worshiping. They had these things that they made up. They still had their rituals, but they put a whole lot of stock in things that meant nothing. They knew better, but they didn't do better. And God became angry with his people. So he says, sound the alarm. The enemy has descended on the people of Israel. They broke the Lord's covenants. They did all the things and ritualistic things, but they still did not do the things that God wanted them to do. They knew better, but they didn't do better. And I think a problem that a lot of us have today is we focus so much on God is going to be our refuge. Yes, even if we do wrong, we can go and he's going to forgive us and he's going to love us anyway, so we can do what we want to do. Oh, maybe ain't nobody looking. The stuff that you do when you think nobody is looking, but eventually it's going to come to a point where it's going to come to a head, because the God that we serve, he sits high and he looks low. You see what I'm saying? So you might think nobody is looking, or you may think the things that you do behind closed doors are going to go unpunished. But yes, God will forgive you. Yes, God is going to be there. He is going to take you back with open arms every single time you come to him. He's going to love you regardless, but he is not a get out of jail free card. You will reap what you sow. And so what a lot of us do today, including me, when I say us, I'm not just talking about y'all, I'm talking about me too, because I'm human. And even at our best, humans are as filthy rags to the Lord. So nobody is perfect. But what we tend to do is we'll let the enemy use us. We'll do things that we know better. We know better than to do those things. We know that we shouldn't treat people like that. We know it's certain things that we shouldn't listen to. Some of the things that we listen to, we know that they're creating gods and idols out of things of this world, which really are going to go just like the wind. So we put our money and we put our stock into all these things of the world. We won't pay our tithes. The Lord has given us our law. He tells us what he wants us to do. We go to church. We're going to pay our tithes sometimes, but then we turn around and we're hateful. These are the things that God is not pleased with. And sometimes we get so comfortable in doing that we think that we'll never reap what we have sown. But like I said, God sits high and he looks low. And the world is coming to a point today where the Christians are so comfortable in doing wrong that the people of the world have no respect for Christianity anymore. Oh, they're making a mockery out of God right now. They're just going crazy in this world like a wild donkey. But one of the main reasons why they're doing that is because Christians are not walking the walk that they should. We should lead by example. We shouldn't be walking around with hate. We should be walking around in love. God tells us to walk so our light so shine in this world, not walk around doing the things of the people of this world. We are not made of this world. We are not of this world. We should walk different. We should walk different, not just because we go to church, or not just because we pay our tithes, or not just because we just post a quote on Facebook or a Bible verse here and there, or if we go out and do everything of the world and then put a post on Facebook and say, thank you, God, for my blessings. It's not enough to acknowledge God. He wants us to walk that walk. He wants us to walk it like we talk it. So the people of the world can look at us and say, that is a Christian. They will know we are Christians by our love. So my message today is, if you know better, do better. You're not going to get away with it. God sees everything that you do in public and behind closed doors. He knows your heart. He is going to judge you based upon what you do, not based upon your rituals. You can do all the rituals in the world. You can go to church. You can post on Facebook. You can donate. You can do all these things and do all these charity events and do whatever you want to do. But if you ain't walking that walk that's pleasing to God, you will be held accountable, because when you know better, you should do better. Be ye not deceived. Judgment is coming. The eagle will come down on the people of God for doing so much blatant wrong. It's time to stop. It's time to stop and walk that walk. Walk it like we talk it. Let the world know that Christians are not of this world. Set yourself apart. We are not made to be of this world. It's time for us to stand up, because judgment day is going to come. So take heed. You have been warned. When you know better, do better. I am Grace Amber. Thank you for listening to me today. I am coming back tomorrow with something else for you. I love y'all, and I will see you soon.